Someone wrote us an email telling us that their husband blamed them for his adulterous behavior, his infidelity. And I'm going to read the email to you because she asked us to do so, and you'll hear when I read it. But first, I want to say this. If you are a husband or a wife and you're cheating, I want you to listen to what I'm about to say. And if you are a spouse that's been cheated on, I want you to listen to me too. The reality is, my friend, that while marriage will go through problems and problems will exist in a marriage, there will be disagreements and misunderstandings. The decision to have adultery, to have an affair, to create this problem in your marriage is theirs alone. Please hear me. No spouse causes infidelity. It's always by choice. It is their decisions. They decided to do it. And in this video, I'm going to talk to the cheating spouse about why blaming your spouse is terrible. It is painful and it's devastating. The traumatic experience is very difficult. And then to be blamed for it, that is low. It is dirty. You ought to be ashamed of that kind of attitude and behavior. Adultery is a sin, and it's an act of abuse, in my opinion. So blaming your spouse is wrong. So let's have this conversation. Hello and welcome back to our podcast. Welcome to the show. I am Dorian and this is Not Easily Broken. And if you're new here on the show, we help guide couples from broken and dysfunctional marriages to healthy and fulfilled one through spiritual and personal growth aligned with the Word of God. Yes, you heard that right. Now, this is what was wrote to us. They're not easily broken. I am married to my husband for 10 years. We have 2 beautiful children, 5 years old and 7. Last year, I found out that my husband has been cheating on me, and I spoke to him about it. I have never stepped out of our marriage. I've been a faithful Christian wife, and I honor my marital vows. Instead of my husband taking ownership and responsibility for his actions, he blamed me for what happened. I'm always intimate with my husband when he needs to. There are times when I'm tired and we just don't do it. But denying him is not a thing that I practice in my marriage. He never complained or told me of any problems with our sex life. This comes as a shock and I'm very devastated and I don't know what to do. I watched your video on the consequences of adultery and it really resonates with me. It is hurting my home, my family, my children. Please read my email to your subscribers and thank you for standing on godly principles for marriage and family. Yours truly, blank. I'm not going to read her name. So that was what was sent to me. And I want to thank you for sending this email. I will be praying for you. I will be praying for your family, praying for your husband for what he has done. I will pray for your healing, for your restoration. And for those that are also dealing with issues like this, I'm praying for you too. I have seen this a lot. Oh, yes, I have. I've worked with couples that have been in this situation. And blame shifting create devastating additional trauma for the betrayed spouse. And it happens in several ways. And I'm going to talk about it. But we got to stop this and we got to take this seriously because it is ruining a lot of lives and it's damaging family and it's creating havoc in relationships today. And so the first damage it caused is the psychological double bind. What does that mean? It means that they are already struggling with the deep betrayal and the trauma. And now they have to deal with the trauma of being blamed for what you did. That is wrong. That is dirty. That's disrespectful. That's dishonorable. And it is abuse. Being blamed for their own pain creates a very cruel paradox. That's like, what's going on? Am I guilty for something that you did? We never had a conversation about how you feel. You never told me or explained to me that something is wrong in the marriage, but all of a sudden now you're stepping out. Here's another thing that happens. They begin questioning their own reality and sanity, such as memory distortion. Your spouse remember being a loving, committed spouse, but you say to them when they complain about your adulterous behavior that they were distant and they were cold. Your spouse recall specific loving actions and memories, but you deny these from happening, or you twist them negatively. Your spouse beginning doubting their own memories. Things like reality questioning themselves, like, I saw the text. Yeah, I heard what you said. You said it was good last night and you want to do it again. But you're telling them that they're paranoid and they're crazy, they're overreacting. Your spouse tell you that they are hurting because of the affair. And you tell them that if there were a better spouse, this would not have happened. Now they start wondering, your spouse start wondering, am I really the problem? The emotional confusion. Your gut says one thing, but their words says another. This can create severe anxiety. You stop trusting your instinct because, he's lying to you, she's lying to you. You question your emotional responses. This often leads to anxiety and depression and complex PTSD. Yes, adultery causes post-traumatic stress disorder. It's not a game, my friend. But I want you guys to do me a favor. If this video is adding value to you, can you please just hit that like button? It is absolutely the best way that you can show your support for this channel, for this podcast. Thank you so much. Number 2, delay healing process. When you blame your spouse for what you did, you delay the healing process. The betrayed spouse can't begin healing while defending themselves. It's very difficult to heal, to get better when they're blamed for every little thing. It keeps them stuck in a cycle of self-doubt and defensiveness, always on edge, always defending themselves. You see, my friend, real reconciliation can't begin until blame shifting stops. And my friend, in the next video, I'm going to be talking about, or I'm going to help the betrayed spouse heal from how you can heal from this compound trauma and betrayal. Because it's one thing to be cheated on, but then there's another thing to be blamed for it. When you blame your spouse for what you did, this is what you're really doing. They remain hypervigilant, always waiting for the next attack, always watching their back. The next moment they have a trigger and they try to talk about it, oh, you're just going to get upset. So they are always watching out for the next move. Point number 3, my God, shattered self-worth. Many already blame themselves. Your spouse already blamed themselves. And then the partner blames, reinforces this. So they already blamed themselves. Some of them are taking responsibility for things that they didn't do. Because the worst thing that you can do is allow your spouse to manipulate you to think that you are responsible for their cheating. That's a lie. Hello? Talk to me. They often internalize the criticism and accusation. Yes. When you blame them, they internalize it. They start to believe it's true. That's what trauma does. Their confidence and identity become deeply damaged. They don't have a sense of awareness, a sense of love and knowing where they are, where they're going, how they're going to get there. They believe they are unlovable or deserve the betrayal. I come to tell a spouse that been cheated on that that's a lie from the pit of hell. And if that man is telling you that you're not attractive anymore, you're not beautiful anymore, or that woman is telling you that she cheated because you're not a good lover, she's a liar. The truth is not in her. Number 4, compound trauma. You see, when you step out of the marriage and you commit adultery and then you blame your spouse for what you did, you just compound that pain. The initial betrayal breaks trust. Trust in a marriage is like what a foundation is to a building. No building can survive without it. You need a strong foundation. And when trust is broken in the marriage, it damages the core of what makes a marriage work. The blame shifting break their sense of reality. You are hurting them and you are damaging who they really are. And see, together, these create complex trauma that's harder to heal. It's like being stabbed, then blamed for bleeding. It's like you stabbing your spouse because every time you blame them, you're stabbing them. And when they're bleeding, you're blaming them for the fact that blood is coming out. So you blame them for what they did. And when they get angry at you, you're complaining that they're overreacting and they are constantly badgering you and bringing up the past. Well, you never take responsibility for what you did. So what do you expect is going to happen? It's not good. This type of behavior is so damaging to a person's life. Number 5, lost of their voice. Yeah, they lost their voice. They become afraid to express their pain and their needs. They can't talk to you about it. You get mad. You get upset. You talk back to them. You make fun of them, or you be condescending, passive aggressive. Their legitimate feeling is now dismissed as oversensitive. How dare you? Now your spouse is learning to suppress their emotion to avoid more blame. So they isolate themselves. They stay away. They don't say nothing. They stay silent. They stay away from you. This creates emotional isolation, my friend. This is not good. It's not good, and God doesn't like this. If your spouse is blaming you for cheating, I want you to hear me and hear me well. Stop believing that lie. Don't believe it. The more you believe it, is more you are reinforcing them to think that what they did is right. The more you take the blame for it, is the more they are going to make excuses why they need to stay the same. They made that choice. They are responsible for their actions. And I'm sure if there's anything that you might have done that might have allowed the thought to get into their mind, or for them to even process doing that, you take responsibility for your actions. But at the end of the day, that's their choice. If you have a spouse who does not want to take responsibility for their adulterous behavior, you better put them before God and take care of yourself. You can't put them first. No, you can't. And the reason why you can't put them first is because they're not making you a priority. If they really care about you, they would take responsibility. And this is not for those of you that are a serial cheater. This is not for you. Because some of y'all don't care. You really don't care. And you don't realize that you're hurting the person that you profess to love. You're ruining their lives. You're ruining your family. And in a culture that is a hookup culture, people lay on their back and they have sex for nothing. I mean, it's sad, it's horrible, but that's the story. And you know, my next video is going to be about helping the betrayed spouse heal from the compound trauma of betrayal and blame. But in the meantime, I want you to take care of yourself. And that's it. Trust God. Believe in God. Believe that God have your back. And don't believe the lies of the devil. Just don't believe the lies. And I want to thank you for watching. And in the meantime, I want you to watch this video, The Consequences for Adultery. It's going to bless you. May God bless you. Thank you again. Please subscribe. Please like and share. And if you're listening to this podcast, please give it a 5-star. May God bless you. And I cannot wait to see you in the next one.